Hi everyone, welcome to Best Recapped Movie. Today we want to speak about movie that called Gamer. The story takes place in the future, where video games have merged with real life and humans have become slaves to corporations. This video contains spoiler. In the beginning, we see Kable participating in an action game. Kable is very good at shooting. Many people are killed in this battle, but Kable successfully passes this stage by reaching a safe place. In the safe place, another participant in the game explains that according to the rules of the game, if Kable survives 3 more battles, he will be allowed to leave the game. Later, we see Ken Castle, a billionaire developer of the Society and Slayers games. He explains about the process of making the popular game Society by participating in Gina Parker's TV show. Society game is a real-life simulator, something like the Sims game except that real people play the game. The game Society has become the most popular entertainment in the world. Ken explains that in this game, people can take control of another person by paying money, or provide themselves to a gamer by receiving money. In fact, the Society game is a place to make money for the needy, or entertain the rich. This game made Ken the richest person in the world. Now Ken has introduced a new game called Slayers. The slogan of the game is, either kill or you will be killed in the worst way. Gina asks Ken why this game is not a crime. Ken replies that the game's killers are prisoners on death row, so they are given one chance to survive if they successfully complete the game's 30 levels. There are also characters in the game called NPC who do not interfere in battles and no one controls them. If they survive, they will be released. This game was created with the approval of the United States government and its revenue is used to fund prisons and its security systems. And 68% of the people in the survey have agreed with this plan. But Gina explains that in the election, there was widespread fraud suspected. Gina asks about the killer control system in the game, which is installed in the game environment and no one supervises it. And it can take away people's chance to reach freedom. Ken replies that the system works fairly. He explains about how this system works, that a nanocell is placed in the brain so that people can be controlled with it. But if they leave the game environment, they will take over their authority. They named this technology Nanex. He asks, isn't a lot of money worth giving up a little control? And here the TV show ends. Gina is praising Kable in Slayers. Suddenly, the screens of the studio are hacked. A person named Human's brother accuses Ken of lying and deceiving people. Human says Ken must be stopped or all people will become slaves. They can't stop Human's video from streaming, he is a very professional hacker. But Ken laughs and does not care about what is happening. Later, we see one of the prisoners trying to escape by killing a special force. But after crossing the designated environment, he is killed. Freak, one of Kable's friends in prison, explains that Kable has become a legend in the game. Because he has successfully completed 27 stages and only 3 stages are left. While other prisoners barely reach the 10th stage of the game. But Kable has a great motivation for freedom, and that is his love for his wife and daughter. An unknown woman visits Kable and tells him to sign a contract if he wants to see his family again. When Kable signs the contract, the woman sticks a needle in his hand and leaves. A little later, we see Kable's wife Angie, who participated in the game Society to earn money. Angie is controlled by a fat man named Gorge. Another player in the game communicates with Kable's wife. They want to make love to each other in the street. At this moment, Humans hacks the game server and blocks it. In the news, we find out that a hacker group called Humans is responsible for this. They are trying to destroy the game's cellular control system. Ken still does not take them seriously. Kable returns to the game. But this time he notices the presence of a teenage boy in his mind. Kable sees a woman walking down the street without will. While a truck is about to kill her, Kable saves her. But she returns to the street again and is killed by another truck. While the game is slightly bugged, Kable manages to win this stage as well. Now he is popular all over the world and has millions of fans. On the way back, one of the prisoners says that they will all die and wants to leave this game. He doesn't even know who controls them. We find out that a teenager named Simon Silverton has taken control of Kable. Simon has become famous in social media and teenage girls are trying to get his attention. Some of them are even willing to pay him 100 million euros to buy Kable. At this moment, a video is broadcast in which Kable kills a man. And a message that suggests Simon can talk to Kable if he wants to. After that, Ken has found a dangerous killer named Hackman with whom he wants to kill Kable because he is finishing the game. Ken tries to interrupt the commands Simon sends to Kable to disrupt his ability. Also, he wants to let Hackman make his own decisions. We constantly see prisoners who are terrified of the game and try to escape. But all of them are killed. Hackman looks at Kable angrily. Freak explains that he has killed a bunch of people together and no one can stand up to him. At this moment Kable is summoned for updating. Freak sarcastically tells the officer why they are not updated. The agent asks Kable if he controls the gun or the player. Kable replies that the shot is under his control, but the player has an eye for him. But sometimes the player takes control, but it doesn't respond well because of the delay in sending the response. Afterwards, Hackman explains to Kable in the locker room that he came in here to kill him. And unlike Kable, no one has control over him. Then he calls Kable's daughter and wife a whore to make him angry. Kable returns to the game, while Simon can talk to him. Kable is surprised because the players cannot talk to the killers and the reason for this is not clear. Simon explains that he is a professional player and is the reason for Kable's success. Then we see Freak, who has become a cleaner without authority in the game. And he is killed in front of Kable's eyes. Simon takes Kable into the restricted area. At this moment Hackman attacks him from behind. Hackman shoots Kable but the gun doesn't work because the game is over, so Kable saves himself by hitting him. Kable asks Simon to find a way to keep Kable in control so they can win. Because he cannot succeed with Simon's control. Angie is asking for custody of her daughter. He introduces himself as an actor. But the employee realizes that he is not an actor. Angie admits that she works in society. The employee explains that his daughter has joined a rich family and has a good life. But Angie says she is his mother and deserves to have his daughter. The employee says he will work on the case. Later, we see Simon roaming the playground. Humans enters and explains that he introduced the ability to talk to Kable. Humans asks Simon to let Kable take control himself. He explains that Kable has information from Ken that would be dangerous for Ken if released. So Ken wants to kill Kable. Simon says he can handle the game himself. Humans says they will kill Kable and if Simon wants to win, that's the only way they can succeed. Simon agrees. The unknown woman goes to Kable again. She introduces herself as a friend and explains that Simon wants to fulfill Kable's request. But Kable will be killed in the game anyway, because Ken won't let him live. So Kable must escape. Kable asks the woman for a drink. Before starting the final battle, he drinks a full bottle of liquor. While Humans warns him. Kable is very drunk and can hardly walk. Simon is pissed because he's given control to Kable and he's doing badly. He worries about Kable getting killed and losing himself. So he tries to wake up Kable. Kable enters a parking lot. Then opens gas tank a car and pours liquor into it. Then he urinates in it. He turns on the car. At this moment Hackman attacks him. Hackman jumps on the car. But Kable manages to escape from Hackman. Kable enters the forbidden area and destroys the control camera. A number of trucks attacks to stop him. Kable defeats the trucks and exits the game environment. At this moment, a missile is fired at him and the live broadcast is interrupted. It is announced in the news that Kable has been killed. Gina finds out that Kable has a wife, so she wants to invite him for an interview. A little later, we see Kable alive and near Angie's house. A girl named Trace arrives and warns him that Ken's security forces will arrive soon. We find out that Trace is the unknown woman. So Kable goes with her. They go to the secret place of the group of humans. Humans explains that Ken has a plan to pressure the government into agreeing to his new projects. Projects in which he wants to take control of genetic diseases and use it to enslave all humans. Kable says he didn't help. Human says he knows where Angie is. Angie, who is in the society game, is again controlled by Gorge. Gina goes there and finds Angie. Angie enters a bar. A person named Rick Rape goes to Angie. They enter a house together and want to make love. At this moment, Kable enters and beats Rick Rape. Thinking that Kable is trying to kill Angie, Gorge tries to seduce him. Kable says to let Angie take control. Gorge does not agree. Kable threatens Gorge with death. They intend to leave the place when Hackman blocks their way. Hackman shoots Kable and takes Angie with him. Kable has a bulletproof vest and survives. When they get out of the elevator, Kable gets in their way and beats Hackman. Security forces attack Kable. Kable kills them too and leaves with Angie. Kable asks Gorge for help. They enter a disco and escape from the security forces. Gina arrives and helps them to get out of the society environment. Gina says she is a fan of Kable and he can trust him. Later, we see Simon being interrogated by Agent Keith. Keith accuses Simon of being a dangerous killer on the run. He then explains that he has frozen all of his father's bank accounts because his money might be used for Kable's escape. He tries to scare Simon into confessing. But Simon mocks him. At the place of the group of humans, Angie is treated to neutralize Nanex's cells. Humans finds evidence and learns that Kable and a man named Scotch were the first to volunteer to have Ken's technology tested on them, but Scotch was killed. Kable explains that in the initial project, the goal was to help humans live forever by making changes in the brain. But the goals of the project have changed. Humans asks him to reveal what happened in the project so they can stop Ken. At this moment, Gorge and Angie's communication is interrupted. A group of Kens go to Gorge to find out where Angie is. At the same time, Humans is extracting Kable's memories. We see a scene where Scotch and Kable are talking. And Scotch is tired of the situation he's in because of Ken's experiments. Kable kills Scotch against his will while being controlled by someone else. Gina sees these events as a great media opportunity. Trace tells him that these events are much more serious than a media story. Then we see that Kable escaped. While Kable is sitting in the hallway, Angie walks up to him. Kable asks Angie about her daughter. Trace explains that her daughter is with Ken. An angry Kable leaves the place to find his daughter and Gina goes with him. At this moment, Ken's people enter the place of humans. On the other hand, we see Simon being released. Then he returns to the game environment and receives thousands of messages calling him a cheater. Kable goes to Ken's place. He sees his daughter and runs to her, but realizes that this is an unreal image. Ken has collected a large number of killers under his control. Then it shows videos showing that the members of the humans group have been arrested. The killers attack Kable. Kable defeats them. But Ken threatens him that he will kill his daughter. Ken explains that he replaced his brain cells with Nanex. With the difference that unlike others, his brain sends commands, and other people's brains receive orders. So all the people of the game slayers and society are under his control. He wants to introduce Nanex cells through the air into all people's bodies. So he controls hundreds of millions of people and can control the world. Hackman then attacks Kable. But Kable easily kills him. Kable attacks Ken, but Ken stops him. Ken has taken control of Kable through the program humans used to disconnect Kable. At this moment, Gina broadcasts the live images of these events in all media. She also connects Nanex with Simon. Then Kable's wife and daughter enter. Ken forces Kable to kill his daughter. People all over the world are watching. Kable resists. Then we find out that Simon has taken control of Kable. Ken tries to take control again. But by saying some sentences, Kable forces him to think about the image of his own death.
Imagine me sticking it into your gut.
So he kills Ken, and at this moment all the other people are freed. People celebrate. They disable Nanex. And the story ends here. If you enjoy, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.